This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English, episode number 243, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode I speak to Clarification Charlie. She is back and she remembered to hit record this time. You may remember the last time she was on the show, she forgot to record her voice. And in podcasts especially, voices are pretty important, aren't they? In fact, I would go as far as to say they are extremely important. And she didn't record hers, so we actually recorded, I recorded an episode of a conversation with myself. It's episode 230 if you haven't heard it and you would like to listen to it. Anyway, in today's show, where she has pressed record, we speak about children's nursery rhymes, okay? The songs that children sing. And we analyse the meaning and the language in them because some of them are a bit strange. But we also look at one of Michael Jackson's songs, the lyrics in that, and as probably you can imagine, that is also a bit strange. We talk about having fun with your clothes off, but not in the way you're thinking. Find out as well what twerking is. I didn't know what it was, but as we know, every day is a school day. I learnt what it is, and so can you. We speak about losing ducks, yes, the animal, and what happens when you have 10 people in a bed. Now, remember, membership to the Rock and Roll English family is still open. The Rock and Roll English family is the podcast community, let's say. It's where you can become part of the podcast, have individual lessons with me, group lessons, receive video lessons from me, ask me questions every day, and lots of other amazing things. So you can go to rockandrollenglish.com/family for that. One more thing, if you enjoy this show, please take the time to leave me a review. I'm asking you this very kindly, preferably on iTunes, and this will really help me. Rock and Roll English is now my life. It's the only job I do. And if you leave a review or tell your friends about the podcast, you will be directly helping me grow the podcast, support my family, and best of all, you will have the great feeling of doing something nice. When we do nice things, I always think we do them for ourselves in some way because you feel so good that you've done something nice. I remember once I helped an old man get money out of the cash machine on the street and I thought, wow, I'm such a great person. And I felt fantastic. Now you can have a similar feeling if you leave a review. And if you do, please send it to me and I will read it out on the show. You can send it on Facebook, Instagram, email, whatever you want. Anyway, that's enough of me talking. Here is the conversation. I will talk to you again at the end. Happy listening. Clarification Charlie, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Martin. How are you?
Always fantastic, Charlie. Always fantastic. Although a little bit on edge. So I can't quite relax because I'm asking myself, are you definitely recording this audio?
I know, honestly, the fear is there. I have pressed record.
Okay.
I have.
Because listeners may remember the last time Clarification Charlie was on the podcast, let's say, was the only episode in the history of Rock and Roll English where I was having a conversation with myself. And it was strange when I listened back to it and you could hear me laughing at my own jokes, which admittedly is something I do, but it sounded worse because there was no one else there. I mean, most people would have just binned the podcast, thrown it away, but I had put in too much. I was too invested in the podcast, so I decided to go with it and have a conversation with myself.
It had some really good bits in there as well. I was really disappointed in myself as well. I am so sorry. Can I blame baby brain? Is that possible? I was in the thick of it, you know?
Right, okay. A lovely term there, in the thick of it, like when you're
right in the moment with it.
There we go. Beautiful. Took the words out of my mouth there. Like so much mother jobs going on that you just couldn't think of anything else, like pressing record on a podcast, which is so difficult.
Yeah, I was too consumed. By everything.
Okay, well, don't worry. We forgive you, okay? So, on to today's show. How do we usually start the show?
With a review.
Do you think we have a review?
I'm going to say yes.
Unfortunately not, okay? I don't think so. Anyway, I've not seen it. We have been on a good run, but surprisingly, things have started to go bad when you have come back on, okay?
Thanks.
Is this a coincidence? I'm not sure, okay?
Who
Is this
knows?
a sign of things to come? I don't know. Okay, so never mind. But yes, please do send reviews and I will read them out. So on to today's show. I'm not going to ask you what we're talking about. I know you don't know. So obviously the last few times you've been on, we've kind of been discussing children, all of this stuff. And something a bit connected here because so baby RnR is now in the stage of listening to all those baby songs. Okay.
Oh, God.
So yeah, I thought we could talk about them because I've listened to a lot of them and sometimes asked myself about, do these songs really make sense? So we're going to kind of analyze some of these songs, okay?
Right.
I'm still not convinced baby RnR really likes these songs, but Mrs. RnR is convinced that she needs them to go to sleep. But
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, do your children need these songs to go to sleep?
Funnily enough, my son, baby clarification Charlie, he is quite into his music at the moment,
right.
whereby whenever music plays, he twerks to music.
Can you explain what twerks means? Because I actually don't know.
Do you not know what twerking is?
No, well, I just asked you.
I thought I was old. Twerking is a form of dance
Okay.
in American pop culture.
This is why I don't know. Yeah.
Whereby they kind of, it's really hard to describe. You kind of shake
your booty.
Shake your booty for sure, back and forth.
Right.
Only the booty.
Okay.
And he's there and literally he stands up and he shakes his bum and he's back. He's shaking away.
Yeah.
He loves life.
Surprisingly, I haven't actually used this dance move in my dancing. My dancing usually involves being extremely, extremely drunk. It's the only way I will dance. Having a drink in my hand because there's no way I'm dancing without a drink in my hand and just kind of moving my arms left to right. I like to use like the gun, like I'm like shooting a gun with my finger. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, that's kind of how I move.
Yeah.
So twerking, nice.
Twerking. So he loves music.
Right. Because as well, when you said he's really into music, if I think of someone really into music, I think of someone, with like long hair, really cool. And so your son, who is not actually one yet, it sounds like he's really into his indie music. Yeah. And he's twerking.
No. I know he's twerking. Partially bald, a little bit ginger, and twerking.
that is a pretty cool look. Okay, so I've got some songs here. Now we're going to talk about them. Okay, so I think the most famous children's song is The Alphabet, isn't it? I think, and as well, does anyone remember the alphabet without that song? Even now, if I have to think of the alphabet, always in the song form.
I know. Same. Always.
Yeah, it has to be. Although I must admit, I'm not sure if I fully know the alphabet. I get confused after RST. It's is a UV? Where's the Q? It's not QU, is it?
I find the LMNON. That LMNO.
That's a mouthful, isn't it? That's difficult. So yeah, but obviously we didn't obviously learn the alphabet so well when we were at school, but I think that's the most internationally known. So I think of as well when I was in school learning French, I still remember the song that we had, which was Quel était ton anniversaire? Quel était ton anniversaire? Janvier, Février, Mars, something like that. And when I actually asked a French person, she said it's not even correct because instead of saying when is your birthday, that song says on which date is your birthday. So still great song though. Great song.
Brilliant. Do you know what? The only way I can still count to 10 in Spanish is through the song that we learnt, to learn numbers.
I mean, you studied Spanish in school. That's quite an exotic school. No, we didn't. Not Spanish.
Yeah, I had to do French, Spanish and Latin at my school. I know. Had to do it all.
That's why she's posh, remember. There's none of that going on at my school.
Yeah. And I still now, because there was like a little, when you go DF at the end, it was like a big like jump. And I still, in my head, do the mental jump when I get to 10.
Maybe the modern version is like you get to 10, do the DF and then some twerking, probably.
Well, probably. It's probably changed quite a lot, actually, since the 90s.
What the kids are up to, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So another one here I've got is Hush Little Baby, okay? So I'm going to sing some of this. So it says, hush little baby, don't say a word. Now you can change the next one to mama, or I put papa. Papa's going to buy you a mockingbird. Now, again, analysing this. So the word hush is quite strong. It's kind of basically means shut up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
right?
Shut up, little baby, don't say a word. Like that's not the nicest. Well, and then as well, going to buy you a mockingbird. So a mockingbird is a type of bird. Why would you buy a bird for a child?
Yeah, I know.
Well, and then it continues, and if that mockingbird don't sing, not even grammatically correct, should be doesn't sing, whatever, Papa's going to buy you a diamond ring. And
to be honest, I'd be like, skip the mockingbird, get straight to the ring, please.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if baby RnR thinks I'm buying her a diamond ring, I bought one for her mum a few years ago. I'm still paying for that. There's fucking no way I'm buying her a diamond ring. She can dream on. A nice term there, dream on, keep dreaming, basically.
Yeah, I know.
And then we've got row your boat. That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Seems all nice. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. That sentence as well. Life is but a dream. I don't really fully understand that. Does it mean life is anything but a dream? Life is shit. Like get rid. Life's a bitch. Learn early. It's difficult to understand.
Yeah, so sorry, I was just going to say there's a lot of haunting aspects as well to that as well, because there's different versions of it, isn't there? So it's like row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. If you see a crocodile, don't forget to scream. That was what I was coming on to next. And again, I thought we were having a nice jolly down the stream here, and now we're talking about crocodiles, probably one of the scariest animals that exists. Maybe this is why I am scared of animals, because I was traumatized as a child because they're singing about meeting crocodiles. We haven't seen many crocodiles in the UK, but apparently you meet them when you're rowing your boat down the stream, which is kind of like a river, I suppose. You've probably got this one on your list as well, but have you got Rockabye Baby? I'm jumping the gun here.
No, I haven't. So jumping the gun, so like going ahead too quick, let's say. Haven't got that one.
I was singing that the other day, and I was like, actually, this is really haunting. It's basically when the bough breaks, the cradle will the bough, as in the branch breaks. Right. Okay. The cradle will fall.
So like the cot where the baby sleeps, and the baby will die. So
and it's like down will come cradle baby and all. And it's like,
just singing to your baby. Yeah, you're
all right. Yeah,
here you are in your cot. You might fall and die, but and then meet a crocodile.
Yeah.
So good night, sweet dreams.
It might break and you might fall to your death. Okay, off you go. Like, good night. See you later. See you in the morning.
So this is what I'm saying. I think we need to question these songs, but adult songs aren't much better. I found one song lyric in particular from Michael Jackson, Earth Song. It's like, what about that? And at one point he says, what about elephants? Have we lost their trust? I think these were the years when Michael Jackson, was kind of losing the plot, really, wasn't it? Someone should have noticed. So losing the plot was going crazy. So, I mean, he had a lot of success in the 80s, obviously, Thriller, Bad, all of the rest of it. But when he wrote that song, someone must have said, sorry, What are you taking? What are you smoking? You're talking about elephants and losing the trust of the elephants.
Oh, I used to love that song as well. I remember that coming out in the early 90s. Just such a good video with him there. What about us?
That was the sign, if there was any, that he was definitely losing it. And in the same song, again, he says, "What about the crying man?" No mention of woman, whatever. What about the crying man? What about Abraham? And so, again, would just say, sorry, who the fuck is Abraham? Who are we actually talking about here? And another song which I'm really into at the moment, actually, which I found on like Spotify recently, suggested songs, and it's that one that says, "We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. Oh no." But yeah, just that we don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time.
No, you don't. But you can do, and you can have a great time.
Oh, when you take your clothes off, you can have a fucking brilliant time. But so yeah, I mean, I did try and think other times. Well, except the obvious, taking your clothes off. Everyone knows the obvious thing, which is fun to do. But other than that, what else? I mean, naked dancing at home, but that's always risky. I'm not a big fan. Totally naked, pants, sure, but totally naked, especially as a man. I think you got stuff moving around. Yeah. It's just not comfortable.
It's controversial. I'm not a fan, to be honest. I think people generally look better with some clothing on. So that's my general.
Totally agree.
My general opinion of the human body.
Yeah. Although one time I do remember having a great time with clothes off, not doing the thing that everyone thinks of, was playing strip poker. So when you have to play a card game and take your clothes off. The strange thing about this, I was with 3 male friends and no females, and we were playing strip poker. One friend in particular really didn't want to play, and we forced him, and he was the first one, and I just have to take his clothes off, and I just remember him standing up, taking his jeans off, and just sitting there playing poker with no jeans on.
Honestly, and the thing is, like, in that moment, it's just there, like, what am I actually doing?
We were in a hostel in France, and then so other people were walking past, and there was just 4 men, like mid-20s, playing cards, one of which had no trousers on. Oh God! But was
that in your house when you were in Canary Wharf Way? Was it that one?
No, I was in France.
You were in France? Sorry. Oh God!
With PT, TJ, and 2 other people, and when
love Teach.
PT, TJ didn't have the body he has now.
Love Teach. Oh, I love him. What a hero.
So okay, moving on with our songs. We've got the one Bingo, okay, which again, so doesn't have much sense in my opinion. So there was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name, Bingo. And it continues again, and Bingo was his name, Now this name, I mean, that's just a classic example of this doesn't quite fit with the rhythm, the melody. So we're just going to add an O. Like Bingo was his name. Well, that doesn't work. Bingo was his name. In fact, Mrs. RnR said to me, "Why does it say name-o?" And I was like, it just makes no sense.
I know.
Absolute no sense. It's absolute bullshit is what it is. But speaking of dogs in that one, so this brings me to Old MacDonald, which it actually exists in Italian as well, this one. So Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And I actually like this because then you got the animal noises, and for example, and on his farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O, with a moo-moo here and a moo-moo there, here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo-moo. I quite like the rhythm of that. But when it's the dog... So he had a dog with like a woof woof here and a woof woof there, here a woof, there a woof, everywhere a woof woof. I didn't realise that dogs apparently in different countries make different noises. For example, in Italy they say the dog says bow.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? You live all your life thinking the dog's noise is woof woof, and then you're in your 30s and someone tells you it's bow bow. It's some things are just too crazy in life to get your head around to understand.
Do you know what? I only learnt this because my husband has a T-shirt from a place called Tarifa, which is in southern Spain. It's a lovely place. We love going there all the time. And he has one, and it's Spanish, and I think it's guau guau.
Right, that's what I mean.
That's how it is. Yeah, and I was like, "What's guau guau?" And he was like, "Oh, it's woof woof in Spanish."
Yeah.
I was like, it mind blown. I couldn't understand how it was like woof woof. What?
A perfect way to put it. Mind blown. Like, you just cannot believe it. You're like, what the fuck is going on there? That is absolutely crazy.
Bonkers.
Then obviously there's Humpty Dumpty, who is an egg, in case anyone isn't familiar with this. And he sat on a wall and he had a great fall. And I heard someone else say this once. The moral of that story is, if you are an egg, don't sit on a wall. And there we go. That's the lesson learned from Humpty Dumpty.
It's not even a happy ending. All the king's horses and all the king's men, they couldn't put him back together again. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Again, the person I saw analysing this said, why did they send all of the king's horses and all of the king's men to fix an egg? Doesn't really have... And I think he also said, if he could think of a device to destroy an egg, it would be a horse's hoof. So like the foot of a horse. Like, that's not going to help the egg. Like, that's just going to destroy the egg even more. So lesson learned. If you're an egg, do not sit on a wall. This is what we're educating our children. It's raining, it's pouring, which this was just so depressing. Like, it's raining, it's pouring. So it's pouring as a way, so it's raining a lot. The old man is snoring, went to bed, bumped his head and couldn't get up in the morning. Like, and I remember as well when it was raining a lot when I was a child and people used to sing that. And that's kind of, I think, just made me want to leave England, really, because it just makes it so depressing. It kind of conditions your brain. If it's raining loads, an old man is snoring and he can't get up in the morning. It's like, Jesus Christ.
That's almost like, you could look at that as really actually quite dark. Like, he bumped his head and he couldn't get up. So what, is he dead? Like, is this man not living anymore?
Exactly. There's so much there. So to try and bring some happiness in, one of my favourites actually is, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And just basically keeps going like that. That exists in Italian as well, which is strange to hear them sang in another language. It's kind of like, when you're a child and you go on holiday, like the first time, and you see other languages on TV, and you're like, what the fuck is this? So, like, I still kind of have that feeling when I hear these like children's songs sang in another language. And we've got this one, which is baby RnR's favourite video on YouTube, which is 5 little ducks. So 5 little ducks went out one day over the hill and far away. Mother duck said quack, 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 but only 4 little ducks came back. And it keeps going. She keeps losing a duck every time. But again, when you watch the video, she doesn't seem very bothered about losing some of her children. Like, you're thinking, look, you went out with 5, now you've only got 1. Like, why are you not bothered by this? And then it actually finishes. It's quite actually sad. It says, the last verse is, sad mother duck went out one day. And you can see she's sad. It gets to the end, said quack, 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 and all of the 5 little ducks came back. So it's got a happy ending.
Yeah,
but,
thank God.
Yeah, thank God. But I think the bit you don't see is Mother Duck saying, where the fuck have you lot been? Like, because when I was a child and, I kind of like went on a wander, like going somewhere, like I would get a clip round the ear. So like basically hit round the side of the head saying, what the hell do you think you're doing? So that they didn't include that part, which is a shame, but never mind. And so another one here as well is 10 in a bed, which makes it sound like it's some sexual orgy. But I've seen the video and everything is above board. Okay, so above board, everything's normal. No funny business. Just lots of people in a bed. And so 10 people which is ridiculous, isn't it? So there were 10 in a bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over.
Definitely a super king bed, if not bigger,
exactly.
in order to fit in 10.
I don't care if they're children. Like 10's a lot. So one falls out, and then there were 9 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over. And then it just gets to the last one, and there was 1 in the bed, and the little one said good night. So he's kicked out 10 people. So there are 10 people on the floor, and there's one little bastard in bed. Like,
I know.
That just wouldn't happen, would it? But again, that kind of makes me think of the times I've shared beds. Again, not in sexual ways, but generally with male friends. Being more than 2 people in a double bed, which I've done many times, and always after a night out drinking. And if there's one thing you do not want after a heavy night's drinking, you feel bad in the morning anyway, it's waking up next to like 3 sweaty, smelly men.
I know.
And it's such at that point, and then I think I just kind of had the other song of It's Raining, It's Pouring in my head, and just thinking I just think I want to kill myself. Like, it's just not worth continuing.
I know. To be honest, like, I've done it many a times. I actually did it once at your house. I think there was 3. Me and my 2 girlfriends slept in a bed in your house in Canary Wharf, actually.
Exactly, in London. Only females though. They had their own bed. Okay.
Yeah, we did. There was 3 of us. But it was like we were crammed in. Like, like even one of my friends, Gemma, was like, could you peel your butt cheeks off of mine, please? It was like we were so kind of crammed in. And it was a really hot place, I think. I don't know if it was like summer or if it was generally quite a hot house.
I think it was summer, yeah. And like, because you haven't had much sleep, you've drank a lot, and... Yeah, and other times...
You'd brought back some ridiculous-sized bottle from Europe. You'd been on holiday in Europe and you'd brought back a rather large bottle of...
Some very alcoholic drink.
I think it was like 5 litres of like vodka or something.
Yeah, that was the classic thing. That was like the days when it was a lot cheaper to buy alcohol abroad. So it's like, well, we're going on holiday, so let's buy lots of alcohol.
No, I know. I think, were you living with Boom Boom at that? Is that the house where you lived with Boom Boom?
Correct. Well remembered. Yeah. Boom Boom was there. And other times as well, when I've shared a single bed with another man.
Oh, no,
generally Corporal Coma as well. Once in particular, I remember waking up, and Corporal Coma, again, obviously he was just waking up, didn't really know what was going on, thought that I was his girlfriend and was caressing my bum. And I quickly had to tell him, please stop that immediately, okay? This is bad enough anyway, being in bed with you in a single bed. The last thing I need is you touching my ass. So please stop that immediately.
Honestly, that is hilarious. That is... Oh, I love it. I love it. Single beds. Sharing a single bed is...
not much worse than that.
It's so much hard work, honestly.
Not much worse than that. At least if you're doing it with, your a partner. There were the other benefits we spoke about of having fun with clothes off, for example. But when you're doing it after a drunken night out with a friend who you don't want to see anymore, you want to get home as quickly as possible. There are not many things worse, except for listening to It's Raining, It's Pouring. The old man is snoring. On that high note, I think it's time to say goodbye. It's been an absolute pleasure talking about these children's nursery rhymes, children's songs with you.
As always, thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was me and Clarification Charlie speaking about children's nursery rhymes. If you're in the Rock and Roll English family, obviously part 2 of the conversation you will be able to listen to tomorrow. But let's have a look at the RnR vocab from today's episode. We had on edge. So when you're on edge, you're not relaxed. You're a bit worried. And I said that most other people would have binned that podcast. So to bin something, to throw it in the bin. It can also be a verb. Clarification, Charlie said that she had mum brain because at that point she was in the thick of it. Now, when you are in the thick of it, you are in the most intense period of that thing. So the most intense period of being a mother, for example. You took the words out of my mouth. Easy term to understand, but a lovely term. We had a sign of things to come when I said we didn't have a review. Bad things happen when you come on the show. Clarification, Charlie. Is this a sign of things to come? We had shake your booty. So booty is an American slang word for bum, basically. We had the term mouthful as well when we said LMNOP of the alphabet. That's a mouthful, a lot to put in your mouth. We had hush, which remember means like shut up, be quiet. We had dream on, so keep dreaming. We had the word stream, row your boat down the stream like a little river. We had jump the gun, so when you jump the gun, it's when you go ahead too quick, let's say. We had lose the plot when we spoke about Michael Jackson losing the plot. We also had a lovely term when Clarification Charlie said mind blown. Normally we say it blew my mind or it blows my mind, but she used it in a more rock and roll way, like the other way, and said mind blown. Lovely. We had the term pouring. It's raining, it's pouring. It means when it's raining a lot. A clip round the ear. So when you receive a clip round the ear or get a clip round the ear, usually from your parents, and it's kind of like bang, round the head. Stop being an idiot. Then we also had the term above board when I said 10 people in the bed. Yes, but everything was above board. No funny business, no touching. And then Clarification Charlie also used a lovely term when she said that she was crammed in the bed. So when you're crammed, it's when you haven't got much space. Like you're on the metro, you're on the tube in London, you are crammed in. Now, all of this vocabulary will be on the website, rockandrollenglish.com/episode 243. I will see you all again next week. Remember, I'm going to do a podcast every week now, but not with one of the regulars, if you see what I mean. Next week will be with maybe another English teacher or something like that. So I will see you then. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.